Good morning. It's Thursday, September the 22nd, and I am with Harris County District Attorney Devon Anderson. Thanks for coming today. I appreciate it. Today's the first day of fall, and it's still just 93 degrees outside. So a lot of hot stuff going on right now in politics and in Harris County. So let's get started, okay?
Okay.
I understand the Harris County District Attorney's Office has a new division. You have 5 or 6 top trained professionals in a money laundering effort to investigate that. Give me a little bit of information about that.
Well, it is designed to go after the owners of brothels, of game rooms, and of drug cartels. So instead of hitting the low-level people, we are going after the people who actually own the businesses. We do extensive investigations and then execute search warrants, and we've had a lot of success shutting down brothels with human trafficking victims in them, game rooms where those are just magnets for crime, and drug cartels. The way we do it is to track the money, follow the money, and if we can prove that they've earned the money through crime and they've laundered it through a legitimate financial institution, we can charge them with a really high degree felony and then use the asset forfeiture laws to seize their money so they can't go back into business. Mm-hmm. That's the key.
Is most of this human trafficking generated money?
Yes, well, and drug cartel money.
And drug cartel.
That's right.
Which percentage is which?
Well, we've done pretty much equal 30-30-30 on these projects. We work with other law enforcement, and then we do our own proactive investigations
so
as well.
30% of the money comes from drug money, then human trafficking. What's the other third?
Well, in gambling. I was saying that those are our operational focuses of those three areas.
And how long has this unit been in existence?
A little over a year.
So it's a brand new, and you think you'll expand on it?
Yes, and if you watch the news, you'll see when we do a big sting.
So in 1 year, how many dollars are you talking about?
Well, I think we are close to. On the last one we did, we got about $3 million. That we are trying. We filed a civil lawsuit to try to convince a judge to have us seize the money.
And where does that $300
million go? Well, we split it with our law enforcement partners, and then what I use the money for is to send prosecutors to training all over the country. Right. I use it for our office supplies. We buy paper with it and toner, that kind of thing. Yes.
Understand. Okay. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about a bit in the news a whole lot lately. Harris County Constable Precinct 4 disposed of 21,000 pieces of evidence in criminal cases.
Yes.
And everything's hitting the fan about that.
It is.
And you're catching a lot of flack about that. My read on that, and my read is you're an attorney, you are a former district judge, a criminal district judge, you're a former prosecutor, you're a former defense counsel. You've covered the gamut of criminal law. You understand why everything has to be meticulously researched, and saved and documented. And that's what you're doing. So all this comes to light in April, but you didn't release the information until August. About 4 months is that, if I can count on my fingers? Right. Mm-hmm. 21,000 pieces of evidence. That's okay. What's the problem?
So the problem was that it was one person in the property room who took it upon himself to destroy, just randomly, without court order, 21,000 pieces of evidence. But we didn't get that 21,000 list until August. We got a 30 item list, a 400 and something list. The list kept changing. Then we would get emails saying, you know that list we just gave you? We found the evidence.
Does that smell fishy?
No. Well, they had no records. This man they had no way to track it. So it's been very
fired.
Yes. And Constable Herman's been very appropriate with how he's handled this, but just getting a solid number of items of evidence to us did not happen until August. And then we had to go back and match each item with whether there was a case filed with our case number. And it's taken hundreds of man hours. So it's not something you can just send out. We don't want to dismiss the wrong cases. Right? We don't want to try to get a case taken care of, where we undo the conviction unless it's righteous. So it's taken us a long time to get it together, but I wouldn't...
Do you think you have all the cases now?
No, we don't.
You know that for a fact?
21,000, out of the 21,000, we've identified 45% of them. We've connected them to cases.
Not even half.
600 cases, and we have to go through each case to see whether the evidence was destroyed before the defendant pled guilty.
Okay.
So it's a mess. It's a mess, but we have to work through it carefully and responsibly.
Right. You are correct. You are
Right.
correct. If you are the victim in that case, if you, whatever you are, you want justice.
Right.
And you deserve justice. But also, if you're the accused, you deserve to have
Right.
Everything done properly, again, according to the law.
I'll give you a real quick example. We had an aggravated assault, very bad shooting. This man had destroyed some of the evidence, but not all of it. So we went ahead and went to trial and got a significant sentence on him. So that's why each case has to be evaluated.
Sure, exactly,
Right.
exactly. Let's move on, talk about Planned Parenthood. Of course, I'm an activist Republican, more of a libertarian Republican, but this case has been big time news in the conservative world.
Yep.
And the gentleman, I believe from California, came in and filmed the Planned Parenthood operations. And you catch a lot of
I
headlines.
do.
You just catch heck all over
It's the
place.
nature of the job, I think.
Well, and I think that's right. So you need to be a little bit tough-skinned with that. So let's talk about this whole Planned Parenthood thing. People are faulting your office so much for it.
Right.
Why is that? And talk to me about that.
Let me tell you, I'll tell you just a few things that most people don't understand. Number one, we had a team of outstanding prosecutors on this case, one of whom I know is pro-life because I know her personally. We don't ask people that when they work for us, but I know her personally. So we had 3 prosecutors, an HPD homicide detective, and a Texas Ranger who investigated Planned Parenthood. And they found no criminal wrongdoing after an extensive investigation involving documents and talking to witnesses. When the grand jury returned indictments against Del Leiden and Ms. Merritt, I, as a pro-life person, certainly was not happy about it. But upon reviewing the law and the evidence, those indictments were based on the evidence. And so whether I like something or not, I have to follow the law. That is my job, and that's the oath that I took. So that's why when people were asking me to dismiss the indictments or go to another grand jury, I wasn't going to do that. We don't ever shop grand juries anyway. But then I said everywhere I went to go talk, if I was given a legal reason to dismiss those cases, I would do it. Not for politics, not because I'm on the hot seat, but if there was a legal reason. And that reason came recently, so I dismissed those cases. So I'm kind of damned if I do, damned if I don't situation.
What was the reason that triggered your dismissal?
It is something that occurred in the grand jury, which, we have secrecy laws surrounding the grand jury. They're protected, but it had something to do with the holdover part of the grand jury because that grand jury spanned 2 sessions and it was brought to my attention and I did what I had to do. So that is kind of what I want people to take away from me is that I am a DA who's going to follow the law whether it hurts me politically or not. Okay. It is that important to me. I'm not going to play politics with this job. I refuse.
So have you been able to go talk to some of these pro-life groups and tell them your side?
I have done that quite a bit, and people walk away understanding. They understand why I've done what I've done.
There's the yin and the yang about we want to follow our conscience,
Right.
but also we want to follow the law also, and you're in a tough position to do all of that.
And I think some people, because they believe so passionately in the cause, they want me to bend the law in that situation, but not in another. And I'm not
so what do you do
that.
next week?
Right.
What are you going to do next week?
That's exactly right. That's
Exactly.
right.
So, anything else you'd like to say?
That is really just the fact that we have done so many innovative and new things. We have limited resources, but we've used them very well. I think we serve the community very well, and I'm proud to work with the people that I work with. These lawyers are not making a lot of money. They're working long hours, but they do it because of the love of the job, seeking justice, making the community safer, and I'm honored to head up this office.
So you're in the middle of a campaign, a re-election campaign.
Yes.
You have a tough opponent coming after you.
Yes.
We're about 6 weeks until the November 8th election day. Early voting is going to start soon. I think they've already have started mailing out the over 65 mail pieces. And wish you the best. I'm certainly endorsing you.
Thank you
and I
very much.
encourage everyone else to vote for Devon Anderson on the Republican ticket for district attorney for re-election. I think she's great. She follows the law. She's tough on law and order issues. And wish you the very best.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Appreciate it.